Calvary Episcopal Church in Pittsburgh is embarking on a capital campaign to preserve, sustain, and share our wonderful buildings. To preserve our treasure, we are seeking to raise $3 million for specific projects that I will detail in just a few moments. We're also seeking to sustain our treasure, and to do that, we want to raise another $3 million to add to our endowment that would go specifically to the buildings. That's $6 million in total, $3 million to preserve the specific projects, and $3 million to sustain, to add to our endowment. To preserve and sustain what we have, we want to continue to share it with the community. About half of the use of the buildings is Calvary's community, choir and worship and pastoral care and so on, and about half is serving the broader city of Pittsburgh through all sorts of outside ministries. For its age and grandeur, this Ralph Adams Cram design building is in wonderful shape. And that's thanks to the foresight, thanks to the generosity of all those who have come before us. The gifts from the past allow us to look towards our mission and ministry rather than worry about leaky roofs or failing boilers, to focus on our mission, to love God and love and serve our neighbors. We seek to preserve, sustain, and share the treasure we've inherited so the next generation can be free to focus on that very same mission that we will have in the future. Let's take a tour and see some of the things we'd like to preserve, sustain, and to share.
Calvary has an excellent parking lot for about 75 cars, but it needs some attention. If you've driven through in the last few years, you know this already. Pittsburgh winters with their gray-skied charm are brutal on concrete. We plan to repave the parking lot, including the gravel section at the east end, and make it more pedestrian-friendly. A concrete lot lasts about 30 to 40 years, while asphalt lasts about 15 to 20. Estimates are $800,000. There are also some sidewalk, ramp, and wall repairs in concrete that need to be done. Estimates are for an additional $40,000.
I'm Rabbi Aaron Bisno, Rabbi in Residence at Calvary Church. I'm feeling so very privileged to have been able to share much of the last year and a half with this community as we brought together interfaith programming, rabbi and priest classes, panel discussions, and other types of programming that brings our community together. Whether we're skating on faith night or whether we're learning together around a table or in the pulpit or in a classroom, the opportunity to focus on what we share in common and to build from there is a very exciting opportunity. We're looking to raise $100,000 as part of the capital campaign to focus on our continued interfaith activities. I hope we can look forward to your being a part of that.
Calvary has two boilers that are 18 and 50 years old. We plan to replace the older one with a new one and make the other the backup. A new boiler for $500,000 will be better for the environment, save on heating bills, break less often, and keep us warm. The Swan Garden is a holy space that is used for the garden service in the summer, for receptions and the blessing of the animals. It's about 100 years old. We want to redo the pavement so it's safe to walk on, drains water properly, and is more accessible. We will replace the steps with a ramp. As a parishioner said, all the stones in the garden are level. They just aren't level with any of the other stones. Estimates are $150,000 to redo the Swan Garden. A columbarium is a final resting place, a type of indoor cemetery. Our columbarium was built in the early 1970s, well before most people chose cremation as an option. That was quite forward-thinking at the time. It is not fully occupied, but it is fully reserved. We plan to create a new columbarium against the south wall, that's the lectern side, of the transept below the beautiful stained glass windows. It will start with 50 niches each with room for 2 urns, providing 100 spaces. It will be built so it can be expanded with at least 50 niches on either side. This will allow one to be buried in the church and do so at an accessible cost. A new columbarium will be about $35,000. Any money raised from selling niches in the new one will be put towards a future expansion. Many of our clear windows need restoration. In some places they are single pane, rotted, leak, and need replacement. Some can be repaired. When you walk into the office from the parking lot, look up. The windows outside the choir room and parish offices can still be scraped, patched, and painted if we do that soon. Window restoration in all the spaces will be about $125,000.
A defining feature of our church are the magnificent stained glass windows. And you might like to know that we've already restored about 2/3 of them. Keeping them beautiful is a lifelong endeavor. Through the capital campaign, we've identified 5 windows that we hope to restore to keep the magnificence of these windows alive for generations to come. These windows not restored, these windows restored. With your help through the capital campaign, we hope to raise $125,000 to restore more windows here at Calvary Episcopal Church.
Our stained glass windows cover both Christian and Pennsylvania themes. We plan to create 3 new stained glass windows that reflect the diversity of the people of the church and Pennsylvania. They will all be religious and Pennsylvania themed. The location is the 3 clear windows one sees when descending the steps leaving the parish hall to the main office entryway. One figure will be Absalom Jones, the first black priest of the Episcopal Church who founded the first African American congregation in Philadelphia. The second window will be of the Philadelphia 11, who were the first women ordained as priests in the Episcopal Church in 1974. The third window will be of Fred Rogers, a Presbyterian minister and beloved figure of Pittsburgh.
The 11 bronze bells in Calvary's Crossing Tower were installed in 1907 when the building was new. In the 1950s, the ropes that pulled on the clappers were replaced by electric motors, controlled from a small keyboard. Age and constant exposure to the elements have taken their toll up there, and the bells no longer ring reliably. Replacing these striking controls will let them ring out for another century.
If you've been in the church recently, you may have noticed it's a little darker than before. Your eyes aren't failing, it's the old bulbs that are failing. Most of the lights in the building have been replaced with LEDs over the past few years. We haven't upgraded all the lights in the church because the LEDs won't work with our current dimmer system. The plan is to replace the dimmer system and replace all the lamps. Every fixture has to be rewired so they can accommodate LED bulbs. This is labor-intensive work, but it's worth it. This will be better for the environment, it will save on the electric bill, and be a great blessing to our sextons, who will have to change the bulbs a lot less often. We hope to make the lighting our first major project. Our pews and kneelers need some attention. In many cases, we're sitting on only 2 pieces of fabric over wood. There are wax stains at the ends. Several of the pews have split at the seat and at the back. Many of the kneelers are in rough shape. They're all over 50 years old and have served us very well during that time. We have a plan to replace all the kneelers and the pew cushions and repair the pews that need it. This is a surprisingly big job for the cost of fabric and labor, and it will cost about $125,000, but it will last about another 50 years.
We need to upgrade some technology and refresh several rooms. We will replace the movie screen in the parish hall, add a projector and reconnect the sound system. We'll put light switches in the parish hall in a place everyone can find them, rather than in a locked closet. We also want to create more storage in the kitchen, replace some appliances, update some of the restrooms, and upgrade the conference room for online meetings. All these various projects total about $75,000.